All right, that was some really good pattern practice, but remember the next thing we were going to do is we were going to do some fluency practice with our buddies. And today when we do our fluency practice, we are going to make sure that we give good feedback to each other. So we're going to listen carefully to our buddies, and we're going to tell them things that they did really well. We're going to celebrate the things about their reading that we thought sounded pretty good.
One of the things that I really appreciated was your calm, focused demeanor with the kids. We were talking about that. Also, that you really, from how you count down, just how you also don't intrude with a small group, being very focused instruction.
I thought the partner choral response was really interesting with the A's and the B's, because then one partner set could be listening while the others are responding, because sometimes with choral response you're not sure if you're hearing every voice, but their partner's kind of holding them accountable, so I thought that was neat.
It was really great how you, when they were sharing, you were looking and listening to making sure everyone was participating and sharing, and then you'd ask, oh, did you get a chance to share, just to make sure that they were on task and accountable for the directions, and in a very respectful, calm way.
Yeah, I'm wondering, how could we get every student able to participate in identifying it more than one at a time?
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
With everyone having a whiteboard, and then maybe one student write the sentence, and then the other one underline the digraphs that they could find, just so they were all participating more.
Well, I got to write. It was fabulous being.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes, good luck on your lesson.
Hey, thank you. I'll need it. Yes. And Erin gets all
Thank you.
the-
Thank you so much for the feedback, everybody.
So what we're going to do today, yesterday I read aloud to you and I modeled how to annotate the text. Today what we're going to do, I will begin like that, but then I'm going to show you how to do it with a partner. And you are going to practice that with a partner on your own today.
The first thing that I noticed is I really like that you wrote the directions out on the whiteboard. That was really nice. It was right in front of them the whole time, so they knew what they were supposed to be doing, even though it was 2 steps. It was very clear.
Kind of along with that, the modeling, like with the other student, you read a paragraph, they read a paragraph, sort of the conversation you might have about what's important, what things might you pull out of that.
When you were doing that, just thinking aloud while you were reading, I'm thinking this and what's most important here, and I just thought that gave the kids a great model to use.
I like how you shared your text to self-connection, and that kind of got them thinking, oh, I've heard of Maryland, I want to share this story, and you're building connections with the students also, and that's as just important as the content. So
Yeah, I was excited to see the annotations, because that's something that I've been trying to do more of in my classroom, so it's always helpful to see another teacher doing that and how that
and it's
works
something
well.
that I wanted to begin this year and I just jumped into it. So.
Okay.
One thing I wondered is, when you were in a small group, sometimes you would, they would raise their hands, and sometimes you would call on them randomly. So I wondered if it was better to just call on them randomly.
I wondered during the pair share if you could give time for one person to share and then flip it and have time for the second person to share, and maybe that would give them both responsibility to share their thoughts.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'd like you to, so after we hear from each of you individually and briefly, then we'd like to hear anything, once again, from not only Sue, but from all of you, of what you think the implications of this, not just learning walks, but feedback in general.
It's a very nerve-wracking procedure to be in, and so when you start doing it on your own, please just know that you're going to probably feel the same thing. And we've done it a couple of times as a staff and a team together. However, the feedback is really valuable, and I think that probably all of us really learned a lot today about our teaching and are thinking about our teaching in a lot of different ways. So it's a really wonderful thing to be doing, despite how uncomfortable it might feel.
I know Corey and I have had a lot of conversation about now we feel like we've got a handle on engagement strategies, so let's ratchet it up. What's the next thing? And thinking about deeper questions and college talk and the things that Kevin talked about in March. When you first start doing this in your buildings, your feedback will feel like it's a lot of about the engagement strategy, but after you've all gotten comfortable with engagement strategies and giving each other feedback, that next level is going to be your instruction, the questions you're asking, the words you're using, and that's where we've arrived as a group now this year.
In education, as teachers, we talk a lot about scaffolding instruction, right? This is sort of like thinking about scaffolding for the teachers, for the colleagues, for the administrators, right? And it's the same idea. We have to differentiate. Some people are going to need a little more hand-holding, a little more support. Absolutely. It doesn't mean that they're not fabulous teachers or wonderful human beings. It means they're different, just like in a classroom. But that we're very clear on the goal and why that is important. And it is our kind of attractor out there that's moving us forward. But I would argue, as was stated yesterday at Holt, is that TLT goes away. It's not an event, the acronym drops away, and it's just it becomes quote unquote normalized, and it's just what we do. And we do it in a variety of ways. We do it one-to-one, we do it in small groups, we do it around special things that I'm experimenting with. I'm not satisfied with, I really want your feedback. So we become resources in a much deeper way than traditionally happens in schools.